Everyone's watching Red Bull. Everyone's talking about Ferrari. But in the shadows, something far more dangerous is taking shape. Because Aston Martin isn't building a better car. They're building a smarter team. And the scariest part? They might already be ahead, before the season even starts. This isn't about hype. It's not about wind tunnel numbers or launch day claims. It's about what's changing inside their system. The names involved. The silence around their development. And what insiders are starting to whisper when the microphones are off. Because what Aston Martin is quietly constructing behind closed doors might be the most complete threat Formula One has seen in years. And we're not ready for it. 3 years ago, Aston Martin was just a midfield team with a budget. Plenty of ambition, but no structure. No synergy. No identity. Now, that team doesn't exist anymore. What's replaced it is something entirely different. Because what Lawrence Stroll has been building, brick by brick, isn't just a race team. It's a long-term system of performance. And every piece was placed for a reason. Dan Fallows was the first sign that something serious was coming. A quiet, calculated departure from Red Bull. Aerodynamic architect of a dominant era, handpicked to lead Aston's future. Then came Eric Blandon from Mercedes. Then Luca Ferbato. Then a string of hires from Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari. All funneling into Silverstone. And now, of course, ADRIAN NEWEY. He hasn't just joined a team. He's stepped into a machine built to absorb him. To elevate his design freedom, amplify his vision, and remove the roadblocks that limited him at Red Bull. This isn't a collection of departments. It's a single, unified structure. Designed to move fast, think faster, and stay quiet while doing it. And that silence is starting to scare people. Something changed inside Aston Martin this year. Not in performance numbers, but in how those numbers are created. Because what they're doing behind the scenes doesn't follow the usual patterns. In most teams, information flows one way. Aerodynamics tests, chassis updates, power unit integration, simulation. It's a relay. Each department waits for the other to finish its part. But at Aston Martin, that chain is gone. Under Newey's guidance, the process has gone circular. Everything feeds everything else, in real time. A concept from the Aero Group doesn't need approval from 5 people. It gets tested directly in simulation. Cross-referenced against heat maps, suspension tolerances, and energy behavior. Before a single part is ever built. The result? Less delay. Fewer layers of interpretation. And a system that learns from itself. Engineers inside the team say the conversations have shifted. They're no longer talking about fixing problems. They're talking about predicting them. And that word, predictive, is what started to alarm rival strategists. Because if Aston Martin has found a way to simulate not just the car, but the logic of the race before it happens, then what they're building isn't just competitive. It's anticipatory. And in Formula One, that changes everything. The 2026 regulations were designed to simplify, to stop teams from chasing loopholes, and force everyone into the same design framework. Standardized energy logic. 2 aerodynamic states. Stricter limits on deployment, harvesting, and cooling. But ADRIAN NEWEY never plays by the obvious rules. He plays between them. Because while everyone else is focused on outputs, lap time, top speed, aero load, Newey is focused on inputs. And that's where the twist begins. There's nothing in the regulations that says how a car must choose when to switch aero modes. Nothing that defines what kind of logic can inform deployment decisions. As long as the car operates within the permitted thresholds, the path it takes to get there isn't regulated. So what if the car is making those decisions? Not based on driver input, but on internal predictive modeling? What if the AMR26 is preloading logic for the next corner? Based on grip history, temperature flow, tire evolution. All calculated before the braking zone? That's not a breach. That's not a hack. That's just faster thinking. And right now, it's not illegal. Which means Aston Martin may not just be designing a better car. They may be designing the first car that truly thinks ahead. While the rest of the grid is still reacting. Newey's machine could be anticipating. And that is what keeps the other teams awake at night. The AMR26 might not be the fastest car on day one. And that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. Because this isn't about instant domination. It's about evolution. While other teams focus on nailing the concept, Aston Martin is focusing on how quickly that concept can adapt. They're not trying to build the perfect car. They're trying to build the perfect system. One that updates, corrects, and learns in real time. That's what no one is talking about. In most teams, if something doesn't work, it takes a week of data, a factory meeting, and a new part flown in. At Aston Martin, fixes are being modeled in parallel. While one version runs on track, 3 more are already running in simulation. Not next week, now. That time advantage is lethal. Because in Formula 1, the winner isn't always the one who builds the best car. It's the one who learns the fastest, who sees the pattern before the others, who adapts before anyone else even knows what to adapt to. And Aston Martin's structure, with Newey's predictive logic at the core, has been built for exactly that. It's not a team waiting for race results. It's a team adjusting in midair. The other teams are still reacting. Aston Martin? They're already moving on to the next version. And that's what no one is explaining. This isn't about innovation anymore. It's about speed of thought. You won't hear it in press conferences. You won't read it in the headlines. But inside the top teams, the mood is shifting. Because they're starting to understand something. Aston Martin isn't just bringing a new car to 2026. They're bringing a new pace to how the sport develops. And that changes everything. Ferrari's already feeling the heat. Insiders in Maranello have confirmed internal restructuring across R&D. A rushed effort to integrate departments that, until now, operated separately. Aerodynamics, powertrain, software. They're trying to connect the pieces. But they're running out of time. Because the car they're building is based on last year's logic. And Aston Martin's model? It's rewriting itself every month. Mercedes, meanwhile, is reviewing the architecture of its W17 project. The engine is strong, maybe the strongest on the grid. But power alone won't win if you can't integrate it into a flexible chassis. They've begun stress testing their hybrid control systems against more complex scenarios, not to gain advantage, but to avoid being caught off guard. And Red Bull? Red Bull is quiet, which is unusual. No jabs, no flex, no noise. Sources suggest they've already created a closed-loop test cell, dedicated to logic modeling, something they hadn't prioritized before. Because they know Newey's fingerprints. They've seen what happens when he gets ahead early. And now that he's gone, they're no longer protected by his thinking. They're exposed to it. So while the world waits for 2026, the teams aren't waiting. They're chasing something they haven't seen yet. Because deep down, they know. If they wait to see the AMR26, it might already be too late. No one knows what the AMR26 will look like. Not yet. Not really. There are no renders. No leaks. No trackside whispers with real substance. But that silence? That's exactly what's making people nervous. Because when a team isn't leaking confidence, when they aren't performing for the cameras, when they're not flexing on social media, that usually means one thing. They don't need to. What Aston Martin is building right now isn't about noise. It's not about PR. It's not even about expectation. It's about control. A system designed from scratch. A structure that answers to one vision. A car, if we can still call it that. That might not just respond to the track, but anticipate it. And if they pull it off, then Formula 1 won't just enter a new regulation cycle. It will enter something else entirely. A sport where decisions are made faster than the eye can follow. Where logic beats instinct. And where the team that thinks ahead wins everything. So yes, we need to talk about Aston Martin. Because this might not be a team preparing for the future. This might be the future.